Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to episode 85 of the One Perspective to Another podcast. I am your humble and gracious, related to a very popular set of Sanders, A. Sanders, your humble, gracious host with the most, highly favored, black and proud. Getting into it, man. It's new month, 1st of March. Full effects in Pisces seasons. I don't know if y'all into that astrology shit, but it is what it is. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about space and the planets. A little refresher of shit we used to know, but it's going to relate. Then social media posting and the opposites of, hey, look at me. Then the ladder system of just getting to your goals. And last but not least, how you can hear something from somebody, but you still got to go through it. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. First up, evergreen episodes talking about the planets. I had a little thought this week. Everything is about the week and things that I think about. But you remember when you were in elementary school and they talked to you about the planets and the sun, the moon, Venus, Mercury, Uranus, Pluto, and all that shit. And it made it seem like all those planets were just like right next to each other, and you could just look up and just see Saturn and see Neptune, and they're all just right there. And I correlated this with living life. And when you're that 6, 7-year-old, 8, 9, 10, however old you are, when you learn about the planets, those things seem like they are right there. But when you get older, you go to high school, you go to college and whatnot, you start realizing that those spaces in between those planets are massive and huge, and it's ever expanding every time you learn something new about how far apart they are. And I relate that to living life, and that's the part where I get it from, because when you're that child, everything is so obtainable, everything is right there, everything is so close. But then when you get older, you start to realize that this shit is far away, and you got to set yourself up. You got to understand how much time a light year really is to get to a different planet, to get to another solar system, to get even from Earth to the moon. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of space. And the thing that I've been trying to think about is, how do we get back that youthful exuberance, as I guess the word is, for us to be excited about shit? Because the older you get, the more jaded you get towards the world. And I'm starting to see that in people and the actions around me. And I don't want people to have that feeling where it's not good to live life anymore, where it's not good to have hopes and dreams and set goals for yourself. I'm trying to bring the universe back together. That's what being a super powerful gas giant is. It's that the collection and pushing it together and creating fusion and blowing up, and all that matter inside of it is highly dense, but it's really small. And that's what we all are. We're highly dense creatures with emotions and dreams and hopes and visions and past and traumas and all that shit. And I don't want us to keep going through life understanding or thinking that we're not good enough because we're so dense. The density of ourselves is what creates our chemistry. It creates what makes us us. So I don't want people to think that they're not enough in that sense. Just go back to elementary school and think about how close the planets are and how close your world is to things. Understand that there are steps in between getting to where you need to go. But that doesn't mean that it's not possible. You got to eliminate can't from your vocabulary. Like earlier, when you get older, you start to think about can't a lot. And there's nothing that you can't do. I know I did a podcast about can't before, but it's all connected. These are all related. But yeah, I just thought that was a nice little tidbit to like start off and just even think about for myself, and just knowing how close and how far away you are from doing the things that you want to do in your life. Yeah, and that's it about that. But next, what I really want to talk about is, if you post it, do you really live it? This is that social media shit right now. Very hypocritical topic, and just questions, comments, concerns, thoughts that I have about it is, for a lot of people, society plays a bigger role in their own well-being on social media than they even want to lead on. Because when you post something, I'll use Instagram for this example. If you posting shit, you just showing people the selfish side of you, of look at me, look at what I'm doing, look at what I'm doing. And that sets a precedent. I can never say that word correctly. But towards other people, of like, hey, look at me, look what you're not doing, look what you're missing out on. Maybe some people do it for that reason. Maybe people do it so they can feel like they're a part of something bigger. But at the end of the day, like, what would you post when you just randomly at home reading a book? Would you post that you just at home in your vibe? Would you post that you just going to the grocery store? Would you post you just getting some water? Like, why does it have to be the highlight? Why don't we ever put up the regular lights? I don't know. That's something that's always been on my mind, because and then people get upset, and then they get anxiety, and they get depression, and they get anxiety being in these situations because they don't even want to be there. We see other people doing shit, and we just want to do it because they're doing it. And we never ask the question, what the fuck do we want? What the fuck makes me happy? What makes me content? It's another thing going forward, is the understanding of people are so afraid to communicate with themselves, to have self-talk, to have a conversation of what inspires me, what makes me happy, what makes me sad, that unlearning and relearning of good and bad habits. How many people honestly can know off the top of their head what makes them happy without getting on their phone and looking up something on Instagram? Very few. It could be a positive, it could be a negative. But just for me personally, like, I know the things that bring me joy. I know the things that make me happy. I'm in a very niche area of the things that excite me and bring me joy. I'm not, the only thing that I say, being a hypocrite, the things that make me the most, bring me the most joy is definitely sporting events. It's exciting. It's, I don't want to say rejuvenating, but it's just something I've grown up with all the Kobe shit and just sports in general. My team going to the Super Bowl, like, it's exciting. So sports, I mean, you can put that where you want to put it, but everything else, if you just on the gram and posting you drinking this wine to show off and shit like that, like, you here, you there, ceremonial, I'm in wherever country I am, but what did you really even do there? Is that moment gonna matter later on? And then on the opposite side of it, it's the hey, look at me. I want this attention. I want these likes. But what is your goal? I know what my goal is. My goal is I'm trying to just get people to see different perspectives of shit. That's always been my goal. Because there's 7 billion different ones, and it's not anything different from the celebrity versus you. That's why I've always had a very hot and cold relationship with celebrities. Yes, they can inspire, but it's more of this is what's hot now. This is the marketing of it. This is the play that I want you to do. And we all do it. But are you authentic? Are you doing it for the right reason? Do you really want to inspire somebody to do better? That's the things that do you talk it the way you post it? Does it really matter like that? Do you really take the time and read these quotes and these posts and these things, these comments from people? Like, does it really affect you? Does it change your way of life? Does it change the way you move in your everyday life? Do you get up more conscious? Do you get up and still blumber over yourself and fall and be late to go to work and don't remember shit? Like, the goal is to get better. And if you're not getting better, why are you posting shit like that? Yeah, that was this little social media thing. The next thing is the ladder system. I did a video. I'll probably post it soon. I just wrote down in a note everything that you want. And then I did those little optical illusions where you draw 2 lines and then they meet at the bottom and then you create a ladder. Something hella simple, but it just made me think about the ladder system and the goal system. And if you keep going, eventually you'll get there. You may stumble, you may fall, but you just got to keep going. That is a very simple concept, but sometimes we just make simple concepts extremely difficult for no reason. I understand we go through life and shit happens, but if you create a foundation, you know what you want. Going back, if you know what you want, put that shit down on a piece of paper, put it in your mind, put it in your mind palace, put it in a book, put it in your mirror, write it wherever you gotta see it, so you can focus on that shit every single fucking day. So no matter what happens, no matter how far off you fall of your ladder, you can still get back up and go get whatever it is the fuck you want. It's really not that difficult. Because the thing about it is, even if you don't get your goal, you will be happy in trying to obtain it. There's nothing more healthy than going into a healthy environment, getting something that you want. And I think a lot of people just don't even want to start towards getting towards what makes them happy because they're scared, because they don't know, because not everybody else is doing it. Not everybody else is talking about what makes them do this or what makes them do that, or they're not doing this travel. Like, you got to explore first. You got to look inside of you. No celebrity knows about you. Only you do, and that's the hard work. That's the shit that nobody wants to do. They don't want to look in the mirror. They don't want to look inward and find out what really makes me hot and cold, what makes me tick, what makes me angry, what makes me sad, what makes me feel this type of way. It's a very difficult and daunting thing to do, but that's where it all starts. It starts with the self-care. It starts with the self-love. And everything else in your path in your life will prosper. Your relationships, your health, your wealth, all of that shit. It starts with self. It's that simple. And we make it so hard. But it just takes a lot of steps. And we just want the instant gratification of everything. So once we get over that, everything will start to get a little bit easier. That's just my perspective. But then to finish it off, just like I wrote it down, the same person can tell you these same exact things, but they still won't get it because it just takes them going through it. Some people just learn differently. Some people are hard-headed. Some people are stupid. Some people get it the first try. Some people have been doing it already, and they're prospering. But as long as you get the information and you get the data to move on and keep doing what you're doing and just grow, get better. It's only one life we got. Live it the best way. Be happy. Experience the things that make you happy. Don't live for somebody else. Live for you. So, as always, it's just my perspective. Little quick hitter. RossFit continues. Shout out to the sponsors. We appreciate your support. Remember, as always, tell two friends to tell two friends. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Gonna be having some guests on pretty soon. I think I got 3 guests lined up. We'll see how sporadic or in the mix we'll make the episodes, but continue to listen. If you like this podcast, support a brother, man. Share that shit. Get it out there, man. Opta, one perspective to another. As always, it's my perspective, and as usual, in the background is probably some music playing, so I hope you enjoy the sleeper, because I am DJ Super Exclusive in the mix as well. I wear a lot of different hats, and I'm just trying to get on my grind. We'll catch you on the flip side, and I'm out.
Can't explain what you see in me. Heal my scars with new memory. I've been my biggest enemy. Overlooked all the little things. Times when you should have been with me. I spent mine with the enemy. You love me through the monotony. Oh, I've been trying to stand on my own, fighting the weight of the world all around me, but I feel alone. Oh, but then you took my ugly, made it lovely, left these demons out in public. Show me love is more than a 4-letter word. More than a 4-letter word. What? Cause you love me when I ain't deserve it. Cause you